Democratic lawmakers are introducing legislation that would reinstate a 48-hour cooling period for gun buyers.
6 years ago, Governor Scott Walker repealed the law that required dealers to not sell firearms until after a 48-hour background check was completed. Now, Senator Melissa-Agard is reintroducing the measure, saying that everyone should have the freedom to live, work, and play without violence.
It's about prioritizing lives over political talking points and personal inconveniences. Safety and security must continue to be our focus.
Agard emphasized today that we can avoid senseless acts of violence by choosing a safer path for Wisconsin.
Today marks a day of grief and a day of action for one Madison family.
It's been 6 years since 24-year-old Carolyn Nozel was murdered by a former co-worker outside of Cottage Grove's Metro Market.
And now, as McKenna Alexander explains, her parents are turning pain into progress.
In the Nozel household, Caroline isn't an annual murder statistic or a breaking news segment. No, to Jim and Jane Nozel, Caroline is the daughter who would save animals from the side of the road or dumpster dive behind her high school, all so she could save a bit of literature.
She pulls in to the driveway and she says, "Can you help me unload the books?" Well, there was barely enough room for her to fit into the driver's seat. We emptied these books all over our living room. And then she looks at me and she said, "Well, I only think there'll be one more load." Her response was, "Chris, I'm really terrified now." And then that's supposedly the last thing she ever said. If waiting 2 days to get a firearm would save someone's life.
Wisconsin's 48-hour waiting period, repealed less than a year before Caroline's murder, required firearms dealers not to sell a handgun until 2 days after the Wisconsin DOJ completed a background check. Nozel says his daughter's killer was troubled and believes that 48-hour hold could have saved Caroline's life.
Maybe this young man whose own actions had caused him to lose his job, maybe have thought about it a little bit more. Maybe he would have he was still in contact with, people at the store. Maybe, somebody would have talked to him or realized it was a problem or he was having a problem and maybe gotten him some help.
Caroline's parents now working toward prevention over prosecution, hopeful that no family has to endure the pain they've felt.
We just want to work on this one little piece that I don't see really as taking away anybody's rights. It's asking them to be patient. There are real people behind all these things. And the costs for the families are huge. We don't get our loved ones back.
News 3 Now has reached out to the lawmakers who wrote the 48-hour law repeal. As of now, we have not heard back from them for comment.